Welcome home, where we provide information, inspiration, and motivator after motivator after motivator. We got Coach Mike in the building with us today. How you doing, Coach Mike?
What's up? What's up, man?
What's going on? How you feeling today?
Good. I'm absolutely fabulous, man. Doing absolutely fabulous right now in this time and day, man. I'm locked in for the lock in. That's what I'm locked in for this lock in we going through right now.
Absolutely. I was scrolling Facebook as I usually do in the evenings. That's a part of my wind down, and
Okay.
I seen a picture of you doing some push-ups on top of some dumbbells. I was like, this dude right here is intense.
Yeah, that's how we get down, man. You gotta, if whatever you do, you gotta go ahead and just do it, man, all the way in. Go all the way in.
Right.
That's definitely how we do.
Okay. Well, we're gonna get to some of the things that I've seen on social media and talking to you in pre-production. You got a lot of stuff in store for us.
Yeah.
Where are you? Where are you located at these days?
These days, man, I'm in Greensboro, North Carolina. Yeah, I've been down here for a couple of years, man. Kind of rooted myself down here. That was pretty much it, man. I knew somebody down here, and then one of my family members moved, so I came on down. But that was a whole part of a whole nother thing, man.
Well, recently I've been hearing person after person talk to me about the Carolinas. Talk to me about what it's like there for you right now.
Oh man, it's love. It's love, really. My thing was getting away really from Jersey, man, and really planting my seed, on some ground that I could really grow on. That was it, man. But Carolina is great, man. There's a lot of opportunity out here. There's a lot of it's a lot of diversity out here. And whatever you do, man, I could go in anywhere and do what I do. But right here, the weather's always great, man. It's like hot and cold here. That's it. You know what I mean? No other no other things in the middle.
Right. Where were you born at?
I was born in Plainfield, New Jersey. That's right outside of Newark is the biggest city that's closest to me, and you got Elizabeth. It's in Union County, New Jersey. Yeah, man. I spent the early part of my days in Plainfield. Yeah.
When I hear of the city Newark, New Jersey, I think about a cultural mecca. It's one of those places where if you want a good hard look at urban America, insert Newark, New Jersey. Was it like that for you growing up in Plainsville?
Yep, just like it was like a small Newark. So Plainfield is actually about 2 square miles. If you know that, you could probably walk from one end to Plainfield, from one end to the other, man, in roughly an hour and a half just strolling. But it was surrounded by 4 suburban towns.
Okay.
So think of the hood, right? Wrapped in the middle of right smack dab in the middle. As soon as you go outside of those borders, you're in suburbia.
Wow. That sounds almost like an intentional design.
Yeah, that's what it seems like. But as I started to educate myself on Jersey, man, Plainfield is one of the spots that had a riot out there, and the people actually took over the armory, and it was a full-fledged, riot out there, like the Newark riots and the Watts riots. Plainfield actually had its riots too, man. And in the 60s, late 60s, 67, something like that. yeah, and then right after that, man, there started to be this pretty much white flight, man. Because it was really one of those suburban towns, but they let a couple people get some houses in there, and like when I was telling somebody the other day, I grew up, all of my neighbors around me were white, but by the time I was 15, everybody was gone.
Wow.
Yeah.
Talk to me about the backdrop of your childhood, given the fact that riots had taken place there, gentrification had taken place there. What sort of a climate did that create for you growing up as a young man, a young boy rather, in Plainsfield?
So it was strange because so the first, second, and third grade I remember, right? I went to this school on the other side of town. It was called Evergreen. All right, nice area. Everything was great. We took the bus over there, and the bus came and picked us up, and it was just like a better experience at going to school. That's when I actually liked to go to school. So then I moved to North Carolina for a year because my mom and dad were thinking about moving back, and because that's where they're from. They're from Wilson, North Carolina. So I moved to Wilson for a year, and then I came back. They had taken the buses away. So then I was forced to go to school around the corner, which was, that led to a lot of the bad decisions, man, that I started to rock with, and I started to create habits.
If you can, what do you mean when you say they started taking the buses away? They took the buses away. What do you mean by that?
So when we came back, so we were riding the bus, first, second, and third grade. I got two older brothers. And when I went to North Carolina and did a year there in school and then came back, there was no more bus system. So we had to walk to school then. So, and there was a school around the corner from my house that I really never even knew that was there.
Right.
Because, as a little kid, I wasn't walking all around, but I came back and I went to this school. It was called Washington School. And that's where I learned a whole lot of things, man, that was detrimental to, my growing up, my thought process, because I was always a bigger kid, but, I was young, and the bigger kids, they thought I was, their age. So they put me on the things that, they were doing. So,
Right.
for youth, man, I started skipping school in about the 5th grade.
Well, at this point, I'm looking at it like you lived through some of the years that produced my generation. And so,
Oh
yeah, so I would like to hand you the paintbrush, and I want you to talk to me about how you were coerced and influenced to make some of the decisions that you began to make in the 5th grade. I mean, were you walking down the street, somebody tripped you, you got up like, hey, what happened? I mean, how did it all take place?
yeah. So the people that I was going to school with, they were really like kids from the lower income, area, and it was really project kids and kids who live with a lot of kids. So
Right.
it was a low income area, and I started hanging out with the guys who would later become like the drug dealers of the town. So I guess they had gotten bad habits. So I was at that point. I think you were. What happened was I just got coerced into that, man. It was cutting school. I thought I was going to be an MC. I mean, for a long time. So we would cut school, man, in the 5th grade and go, just dig through records. Or we would cut school, and if any other little girls would have cut school, we just cut school and giggle and laugh with them all day, stuff like that, man. But it seemed so easy.
Right. Who are y'all listening to? Who are y'all listening to in terms of hip hop or soul music at the time?
Oh man, it was a lot of, so that was, if that was 82, that was about 82, 83, man. That was the, hip hop had just came on the scene. So we had the Grandmaster Flash, we had, Curtis Blow. That's around time Run DMC was popping. So, we vibe with them.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And where were your parents? What did they do for a living? How were you managing to skip school?
Yeah, so my parents, right? So as I look back, man, I did a lot of digging these last past couple of years, man, to the point where I had to try to understand why I did the things that I did and where it came from. So my dad actually was considered pretty smart, but only had maybe an eighth or ninth grade education. And my mom, she was, they had kids early, so she was young. She didn't know, that she was sent me off to school. So, why why would I not go to school? So they never really checked on school. And what I realized is that one of the core values that my mother and father did not place in me was education. So it wasn't a core value. So they didn't really think, as long as I wasn't getting brought home in the cop car, that's how I felt.
Right. Right. In other words, the number one thing that I'm raising you around is not going to be school. It might be a lot of other stuff.
Oh yeah.
I'm not drilling you about what happened at school and every hour of that day.
Nah, it's more, so dig deeper into the story. My brother, he was into getting in trouble. So their eye was kind of like on him.
Mhm.
And I was, getting away with pretty much whatever, man. I was, skipping school, man. I had my first cup of, brew and all of that stuff, man, back in probably seventh grade, man, seventh grade, because I skipped school all the way through. Like from fifth grade, I just skipped school because I really didn't. Yeah, it's really crazy, man.
So you had your first cup of beer outside probably in the seventh grade.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Had first cup of beer outside, man. And that's another thing, man. Like my dad drank, so it was okay. Like it wasn't going to hurt me. It was just not for me. He never said, "Here, drink," but he never discouraged me from drinking. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
so
Can you talk to us about, because you're educating us today, you're schooling us on realities that have been taking place as at
oh
least
yeah.
in the early 80s. So I'm totally into this story right now. Can you talk to me about the grip, and the jungle? That's the streets. When you look out your window, some people just see a regular, ordinary neighborhood. But for you, you saw all types of traps and snares and strongholds. Can you talk about those?
So I got an interesting story about how I came to start selling crack at like 14 at
Whoa,
once I was
whoa,
about eighth grade.
whoa. Go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
Yeah, so you know what I mean. So I'm walking home. I think I'm in the ninth grade, maybe the eighth grade or ninth grade. I'm walking home, and I'm walking through a drug area, and I find a crack vial on the ground. It had, you see crack vials all the time, but they normally gonna be empty. You know what I mean? So this particular time, I seen one that had something in it. So I pick the crack vial up, I look around, and I walk off with it, and I have it for about 3 days because I knew what it was worth, and because I see the people around, that's selling. And so one day I'm walking and I'm coming home by myself, and I seen this lady that I knew smoke crack. And so I walk, I'm walking, and she's looking at me, and I'm looking at her, and she said, "You got it?" And I was like, "Yeah, I got it." She was
Why did
like,
she ask you that? Why did she
"Hmm?"
ask? Why did she ask you if you had it?
Because I was in the area and we made eye contact. That eye contact is something, up top, man, not a lot of contact goes on unless there is something happening.
Right.
If you ever been to New York City and you look at someone in the face, first thing they're going to ask you is, what are you looking at?
Right.
You know what I mean? Really, especially if you go to certain parts, it's really no eye contact unless there's something, a transaction gonna happen, or some type of connection is gonna happen.
Right.
And that's what I learned about eye contact, man. If you want something to happen, you get that eye contact, man. You can get across to a person. But she made the eye contact, and I was looking, like I wanted to sell her something, I guess, and so I went over there, and I think she had about $8 or $9, and I was like, all right, that's cool. I took that money, and from there, man, I got a rush, such a rush of, doing something illegal, doing something that was rebellious and not getting caught. And that was probably one of the worst things that ever happened to me. But the best things that ever happened to me too.
Absolutely. I want to put a microscope on this portion of the story right here, because we need to raise awareness that the young kids that we're sending out of our houses to go to school, on their way to school, and I'm talking about urban, I'm talking about in urban America for the most part, while these things can happen anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Your child, your 13-year-old baby, could be walking past crack needles, crack vials. Somebody might be asking them if they have it. It almost sounds like in your era, especially, but this still happens today, that you got to be trying not to sell drugs. You got to be trying not to come across a gun. You got to be trying not to drink alcohol as an early teenager. You got to be trying not to get involved in your first robbery, because when these babies walk the streets, there are invitations to drugs, guns, and violence.
Well, the first thing is, it's the allure of the game, man. It's the allure of having money. It's the allure of all of these things. And we're stepping, and we're walking down the street, and we're stepping over things, man, that are illegal, man. It's really, really tough. I have a 14-year-old nephew that lives in Newark right now. And my brother, calls me all the time, man, said we got to get him out of there because, he live in blood, right in blood territory, so it's only a matter of time. Mm-hmm. And, he hangs with the guys, and, but the only thing is, he got that jump shot. So that's what's keeping him out right now, is that jump shot. But, I got a couple of guys that, when the jump shot didn't work out, they went right back to what they knew. In the streets is already, yes, they are totally grabbing us, just from watching and observing other people throwing money and all of those things, man. When you're young, you're totally impressionable, and you'll be steered to those things easily if that's all you put into your head. So you're painting a picture in your head about having these things with the stuff that you're actually watching, consuming on a regular basis, then that's what you're going to want. So because your thoughts are going to lead to feelings. The feeling is, man, I don't have that. And your feeling is going to lead you to start to believe something. If you get out there, then you're going to, you're going to make sure that you get that money too. You start believing that you can make this money. And then, and next thing you know, your beliefs are going to lead to some actions, man. That's, you know, once you start to act on it, it's either, man, get locked up or take this ride, man. This really, you know, that's a part of the game that, you know, I was lucky to elude, was getting locked up. But like I said, that was a blessing and a curse too.
Right. So, what can we do? What can we do to kind of put a curb on? Because I'm thinking we got a whole nother generation of young people out there today who are getting ready to get involved in all the same stuff that the last generation got involved in. It's literally happening right now. Is there anything just off the top of the head? Is there anything that we could be doing to curb it, to slow it down?
Yeah, man, personal development, you know, that's really what the schools don't teach is personal development.
Okay.
I was 40 years old till I really started doing some personal development, you know, and that type of stuff works. Writing your goals down, you know, making, you know, plans, proper preparation prevents poor performance, you know, learning to prepare for things, learning to just be a student of life, you know, those things, man. And we all know them, but there's no class. You know, I think a lot of people said school of hard knocks, you know, no graduation. You know, that's how it is. So if we implement these personal development courses, or we can do, because right now we're on affirmations. You know, we do a lot of affirmations. We have affirmations for little kids. I have a grandson at this point, and he has the affirmation cards. And, you know, we, you know, read them to him before he can actually comprehend them, so that it'll be something that he's used to hearing, and that personal development will continue to grow with him versus just, you know, man, it's really serious, man. Personal development is going to be the key to, you know, any highest achievement. Right. So if we don't start personal development, we can't become what we need to become in order to even teach these babies, man. So, yo, it's really real on the personal development tip. You know, and that's really what my gym does. You know, that's what we do on a whole. We do personal development, but we do workouts.
Right. You know, I think that what you're talking about right now is phenomenal, and you're providing a real solution. Shout out to Matt Anderson in the building, a very important member of our viewership today. Shout out to Calvin Pohl in the building, another veteran part of our viewership today. We definitely appreciate you guys. If you haven't already, ladies and gentlemen, tell a friend to tune into today's broadcast. Grab your nephew, grab your niece and your brother and your uncle, and have them to come here and listen to Coach Mike, because Coach Mike is going somewhere with this. This man is on our show today because he invested some things in himself that we have an opportunity to invest. Now, if you can, Coach Mike, I want you to tell us and teach us what exactly is personal development and how early should we start personal development?
Well, I mean, take both of those words, man, and just personal means oneself. And to develop something, man, that means to continuously, you know, learn. Not, you know, personally develop. You know, we want to continually learn. We want to be lifetime learners. All right. And when you start that early, it doesn't matter. Right now, my son, because I taught him some management skills about his life, he's doing what he you know, loves to do. He doesn't have a job. He owns a football team, and you know, he's about to open a facility. So you have to become a learner. But we as parents or OGs or older people, we have to become teachers, man. But the only way we teach is if we actually go and become those things ourselves, man. So right now we're teaching on action right now. Everyday action will build up persistence. All right. So every time we have a great success, it's a triumph, over fear. All right. So, and that's what we don't talk to the babies like we used to, man. We don't spend that time. We have to become, man. That's what we really have to do, is become those things that we want to see. We become the change that we want to see. So if we want that personal development, it can start from, like I said, from the cradle. But if we grab these kids at 9 and 10, man, and give them something to do, give them some books that are actually going to teach them some gems about life, because these kids got the books on smash. They know how to pass classes and still not know nothing. So wow. We have to, so right now, what we're studying is cards like this, man. That's the thing that you say that to myself. If I affirm that to myself, I'm going to start to believe it, because it becomes a habit in my life. All right. So we need to make all of these beliefs and our values habits, man. If we say we value family, it has to become a habit that you get them to do personal development, or that you spend time with them, making sure, man. Because like I said, man, when I was coming up, my parents didn't value education, man, and I was lucky, really, that I knew how to cling to. I knew how to make it, man, and that was pretty much it, man. I just had to figure it out, and then my dad died when I was 19 years old. So, from that, it was just, all right, I hit the streets running then.
Yeah.
And I had nobody to tell me no. So right. Personal development would have allowed for me to, I didn't even realize how to get into college. And I was, in the 11th grade. I didn't know how. I thought if I played basketball well enough that some college would just come and I didn't know what the process was. But my uncle was All-American in 2 sports. Mm-hmm. And he said he was the same way. So our value system wasn't education. He couldn't go to Seton Hall. He had to go to a JUCO because he didn't pass the test. Right. So our values run deep, man, and a lot of times we running around with the same values that that parents gave us. Right. And I had to change that, man, and until recently, education wasn't a value to me. Right. Until I had realized that if I study everything I could study, knowledge is the new money. Knowledge is the new money, man.
Wow.
The more you know, the more you grow.
Right. That's key right there. Absolutely key. I mean, this is an extremely valuable conversation. Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking to Michael Fields, and this man is on a mission. He's taking his life seriously, and he's encouraging us and showing us how to take our lives to the next level today. We're going to be right back with Coach Mike right after this brief message. America's Next Motivator. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern. Tuesday and Thursday at 10 a.m. Eastern. America's Next Motivator. Hosted by me, Cedric Riley, and sponsored by the Pride Empowerment Network. And we're back. Coach Mike, how you feeling out there?
Absolutely. Mike just asked me the same question. I said, man, I'm absolutely fabulous, man, over here, man, enjoying this opportunity, man, and really trying to sharpen my tool, man, right now. Just sharpen it. That's all I want to do.
I got something for you to sharpen right here, right now. As I was listening to you before the break, you mentioned that your parents didn't really place a high value on education, but you also mentioned that young people today know how to go through school and lessons and not really be paying attention. They know how to get good grades and not really be paying attention, right? And so I'm also hearing you talking about personal development, which brings me to this.
Yes.
Are we missing something when we say education? Is there something missing? You also said that your father, he wasn't a high school graduate, but he was a smart man. Are we missing out on an opportunity to implement something like personal development as a whole nother lane to education? Are we missing out?
Well, I mean, really, it's a whole nother school. You know what I mean? Personal development is a whole nother school, but just to add something to the school curriculum would be an economics course that actually deals with real economics. You know what I mean? It really, no one really teaches you about money and how to pay bills and all of those things. Those things are supposed to be learned at home. But if your parents don't, if you're not, you're not from a house where the bills get paid like that, then, you know what I mean, what are you learning? So are you left out? So there is an element to something that's missing in school, man. And I really can't put my hand on it, but I know that it's rooted in personal development. I know that because we're having far too many people coming out not having their mind on anything. And that's all that personal development is finding a goal, fixating on it, and seeing it all the way through. Right. And that goal is going to lead you to another goal, which you can see all the way through. Mm-hmm. So if we continually develop, then, personally, we'll develop some people along the way, right along with us.
Mm-hmm. Did you have any sort of cultural identity challenges when you were a young man? Because now we're talking about a 17 and 18-year-old Michael Fields. What was your idea of yourself and your history?
Well, at 17, 18, I thought I was going to be a basketball player. If you ask anybody, in my small town, that's, if they hadn't seen me in 15 years, they would say, man, I thought you would be somewhere playing basketball. But that didn't happen. Then I became the best drug dealer I knew how to. So, so I hustled, I got the chain, I got the sneakers. I even worked in. So I started from the bottom, man. And so it was real crazy because I started out selling. At 14, I just went to New York and bought me some crack. I had about $150. I went and bought some crack from New York at 14. I was still in school, and the cops. And so here, this funny story. So a cop had jumped out of their car and was coming up from behind me after I got the crack. And then I seen another car like pull in front of me. So I'm like, man, I'm about to go to jail. Oh man, what's about to happen? And as I ball the crack up in my pocket and get ready to run, they run right past me and run into somebody's spot, right? It's crazy.
Wow.
But that didn't stop me. I still wanted to be the best drug dealer. After my hoop dreams fell, that I wanted to be the best drug dealer that I could possibly be.
And it sounds like this additional house of learning that you were talking about, it didn't exist then and it didn't exist now as a catch, a safety net for what happens when your plan A fails. So it should not be, this is my perspective, it shouldn't be Mike wants to go to the NBA, but he can't, so now he's dealing crack. Cedric wants to go to the NFL, but he can't, so now he's dealing this. It should be, listen, we understand that your plan A didn't work. Listen, you need more knowledge, you need personal development, you need a historical lessons about life. You need anchorage. You need to be anchored in as a man, as a woman, so that you understand. Listen, if I can't successfully become my plan A, I got all the other letters of the alphabet as plans of what it is that I can do, and that not be illegal. So I want you to talk to me now about, when did you start learning lessons that helped you to change the direction of your life?
So what happened to me was I got locked up for 7 days. Now, I had been to New York picking up as much as a kilo of crack, and had been dealing, making thousands of dollars. But I went to court for a loitering charge or something like that, and got into a fight at the court. And just so happened somebody pulled up and had a knife in their car. And I'm not a killer, so I'm just swinging the knife, like, for the guys, because it was a bunch of them trying to get me. So I'm swinging the knife, and I get charged with attempted murder. So attempted something. Yeah, it was attempted aggravated assault. I didn't touch anybody, didn't cut anybody. So they sent me so I had been locked up countless times before, but I had never made it to the county jail. And this time I had to go to county jail. So I get locked up for those 7 days. The first 2, I was all right. Last 5, I was like, okay, I know exactly what I need to do. I know what I don't want to do is spend any more time in here. And I made a decision to just stop hustling. And at this point, my son was maybe 1 or 2, and I was pretty, good in the game. And so when I got out, I just gave all of my drugs, all the paraphernalia, everything, to a couple of my homies, and just said, give me half of whatever, you make. So after they did that, man, it was a 7-day period that changed my life and took the trajectory. But the crazy part is, just like the crack game, I had to start from the bottom. I had to start from the bottom all the way to the bottom. So after those 7 days, I said I stopped cold turkey. I ended up coming to Greensboro, North Carolina. So first, I started writing down my goals, what I wanted to do. So once I did that, I came to North Carolina, and I got a job. I got a job as a CNA. So
okay.
You know what CNA does? A nursing assistant.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was a CNA, and I was working at a nursing home where people were, kind of dying frequently. So, and my job was to clean them up. So
okay.
I went from $1,000 nights, $2,000 nights, $5,000 nights to cleaning, the backsides of old people.
Mm-hmm.
And that changed my perspective. I knew that I wanted to affect people, but I knew I wanted to help them at that point. I knew I had a heart for helping, because I wouldn't even have took the job. So with that in mind, I kept that in mind, and every job that I got from there got better. But then I moved back to New Jersey. I said, if I could do this here, I could do it there. And then part of me changing was changing who I was at the core, and then change starts from the inside out. So once I changed the core, my outside started changing. My outside world started changing. So when I got back, I didn't mind having a CNA job. So when I didn't mind having a CNA job, I went to go get another job. And they said, we don't have a CNA's job, but we have a physical therapy assistant job that we could give you. Oh, I said, all right. So then from my learning, once I put learning at the core of where I was, what I wanted to do, education, and I started working as a physical therapy assistant, right? I started working there. I was learning all about the muscles, and in and out, and learning how to help people back, to nurse people back from injuries and stuff like that. I learned all of this first. And then right after that, I found out about a massage therapy school. So once I found out about the massage therapy school, I asked the hospital that I was working at, would they pay? They said, yeah. So they gave me the tuition reimbursement to go to massage therapy school. So you see where I'm going? So now from the massage therapy school, all right, I did a year and a half in massage therapy school. I learned 10 different disciplines of massage therapy. So I know the body from in and out now. So now I know it. So now my next opportunity came, and boom, one of my wife's cousin worked in New York City, at New York Sports Club, and she was a manager. And she said, hey, do you want to come and get personal trainer here? And so my first personal training job was in Midtown Manhattan, 49th and Broadway. I was training cats like Tay Diggs. I was training cats like what's my man name? Brian Biggs from Def Jam, Jay-Z's boy.
Oh, yeah.
Beach, all of them cats, they ran across my path. So, so from there, man, it just snowballed. But learning, definitely, man, I had to root myself in the reality of the possibility, man, that I could actually be something other than what everybody else thought I was. See, once you change the opinion of yourself, the world will, change their opinion the next day. I learned that from my man. I ain't gonna take my man Lynch Hunt's, quotes, man, right. But that touched me, right? He said, as soon as you change your opinion of yourself, the world will change their opinion of you. How about that?
I think there's a calling on your life. I think that you always were a talented individual. You always had leadership qualities, but maybe they were misdirected early on, right?
Oh yeah.
But there was a silver lining, even though that it might have been misdirected. There was a silver lining because those choices that you made when you were younger, they gave you a knowledge set. They gave you a set of mental faculties that now allows you to read the room. It now allows you to get into a room full of people from all different backgrounds and take them from mediocrity to excellence.
Yes, sir.
I want you to explain to us what it is that you do in the lives of people today.
Right now, my why is to assist and empower everyone by overcoming their physical, mental limitations and fears so that they can live the life of fulfillment, man, that everybody really, really wants. So that's in a nutshell, that's what I do. I get these people, and like I said, the limitations and fears, man, a lot of times we talked about, that's been my why for, let's say 5 or 6 years, right? But only in the last 2 years have I had to actually become that person that that can actually assist and empower somebody who had an injury, because I never had an injury. All right. And I never been fat. So I didn't know how to overcome anything. So in the last 3 years, I moved into a house, right? That February. By that May, I had cut the tendon in my toe. So I was down. Cut the tendon in my toe, was out 6 months, had to come back around. The next year, around that time, I tore my quad tendon.
Oh.
All right. In the other leg. So the meat off the bone, everything, I had to get screws and wire and everything. And so guess what I had to do? I had to become the person that knew how to assist and empower somebody who had physical limitations and mental limitations, because my job was to get back up on the box that I fell off of. All right. So I was box jumping and got cocky and tried to do it with one leg. And I got hurt. So my thing was, I can't let this box win. So I get back up there within that time period of healing, man. I jumped back on that 30-inch box in about 6 to 8 months later, 4 or 5 months ahead of time. So, it's really, I had to become that. I had to become all of those things that my why is about. So that's why I can say that that's my why, and that's what I do. So right now I'm just assisting people and empowering them, man, to just continue to work out despite injuries. We got the website, man. We're right now we're putting some things in place where I have a fully modified. I already have a fully modified show, but I'm fully modified exercise library, man, so that people who are hurt, people who are who just new to exercise, they can come and experience the AWOL experience, man, like everybody else, because the rest of the stuff, man, is kind of hardcore. So but it's for everybody, man. It's for everybody. We adjust the exercises, we modify them. But I'm known as Modified Mike, because I modify all the exercises when somebody gets hurt or something like that. Boom, I got you, man. The exercise library is going to be for people with physical limitations, those who think they are new to exercise and just really think it's too much fast paced. So I kind of made a program just for them, man, for the beginners, and just something to graduate into, because we're all about that progression, man. If you can start something right where you are and make something happen, man, that's called progress, man. That's called imperfect action. All we need is action, man. I don't care if it's imperfect, perfect, regular, irregular. We need some action, man. And starting where you are with what you have and make something happen, you start to feel better. And that feeling, man, produces something inside you that's like dopamine, and you want more of it, and you want more of it. So you're addicted to like taking steps every day, man. And then those steps that you take every day is going to be a big change in the long run. It's going to be that big. Right. You're going to look up, you're going to be totally different.
Right. Now, it looks like you're a member of AWOL Fitness. What's your role in AWOL Fitness?
I'm part owner of AWOL Fitness, man, 320 East Washington Street, man, in Greensboro. Wow. We got, yeah.
Hold on, how did you leave that out? Hold on, so you created a fitness company?
Nah, so my man, that's why I was asking you, did you know Lynch Hunt? Because Lynch Hunt is really, part owner of AWOL Fitness, man. Lynch Hunt is the creator of AWOL Fitness, man, and it's a crazy story how we met, man. He had just gotten out of jail from doing a 10-year Fed bid, right? Okay. And he changed his life completely, man. This guy was he was the head of an $8.3 million drug ring in New Jersey, and it just so happened that we're from Jersey. Okay. So and so a lot of the people that he knew, I knew, and so I seen him one day. He had I was working at this place called The Rush in Greensboro, and one day he had just got hired there, and he was like, "Mike, what's up, man?" He said, read my name tag, "Yo, what's up, man? I'm Lynch, Lynch Hunt, man." He gave me a card that said AWOL Fitness. This was about 2012, 13, somewhere like that. Gave me a card, and he said, "Yo, get with me, man. I got some stuff going on. I really want to get with you, and let's get money together." So I'm like, this is Jersey cat, slick talk. I'm like, I'm skeptical. So I'm like, all right. But then I seen him again, and he did the same thing. And then I seen him again, and he did the same thing. And so one day, probably about a year or maybe even 2 years later, somebody was talking about him and said, "Yo, you should go see this guy Lynch Hunt." I'm like, man, I'm about to go see this guy, man. So I walk into the gym, right? He's doing a class. He's got about 60 people doing a boot camp class, right, on a Saturday. I walk into the gym and he yells out my name, Mike Fields. What's up, man? After 2 years of telling them, nah, I'm good, nah. He walks in, man. He yells out my name. Then he brings me up and like, yo, I want to show you something. So we start. So he's like, all right, if you got time after the class, we'll go see something. So we went over to right where AWOL is right now, man. He showed me the building. He said, I want you to get down with me. He was like, you don't got to do nothing. All I need you to do is get down with me, and we're gonna take care of the rest. We're gonna take over, and we're gonna change fitness. Gonna change the way fitness is approached for years to come. And everything that he said to me has happened.
I think I've said this before, and I'll continue to say this. There is a lot of value in individuals who have been through the prison system and decided to reform their lives. There is a whole lot of value in those types of people who have been incarcerated but took it upon themselves to have a spiritual rebirth and then decide to repurpose their life. There's some of the most resilient people on the planet Earth. And so when you say that you and this brother Lynch have been through, some hard knocks, and then he's been incarcerated, and you spent 7 days in jail, which changed your life, man. Y'all some serious guys, and you're not just out here. Yeah, go ahead.
No, it goes back to those core values, man. You start to value time, and then you start to value freedom. You know what I mean? So once you change those at the core, you're gonna have a corresponding action that goes with, I don't want to be locked up. You know what I mean? I want financial freedom. You're gonna make those choices to do those things instead of the other things. So once you get those core values, man, and sometimes once you get in the dark or by yourself, that's the only time that we're gonna reflect. And right now, man, nobody wants to be by themselves. Nobody wants to get by themselves and really study who they are and where they came from and all of those things, man. People just don't want to do it because they're good where they are. All right. But when they realize they're not good where they are, then they stuck.
You know what, Coach Mike? I want you to take 30 seconds. And I want you to talk to the young women out there, the young men out there, the grown folks, and the young adults who are saying this. I want to change my life, but it's too hard. Talk to them.
All right, so look, what we talked about today, man, look, action. All you have to do is take a small step towards your goal. All right, take a small step towards your goal each day, man. It's like a drop in the bucket. That's it, man. So look, if you're looking to get out of financial bind, all you have to do is start checking into it, man. You ain't got to have $1 million to really do these things, man. You have to start small. I always say, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. You cannot eat an elephant. You can't just run up on no elephant and take it down. All right. And I know that's what your goals, that's what your aspirations all feel like. But if we take one day at a time, man, look, I am not a young buck and I still have not gotten to where I wanted to be. But what I did was I went through the stage of development. So don't worry about if you feel like it's not happening right now. So look, the bamboo tree, if you get nothing else, y'all, the bamboo tree, it grows underground 5 years before it even sprouts anything. You got to continue to water it. You got to continue to nurture it. You got to continue to care. But guess what? After that bamboo tree sprouts up, it goes 80 feet in the air, man, in like 6 months or like a year or something like that, man. So all you got to do is keep grinding, keep hustling. Hey, if you're in the dirt, guess what? You're a seed right now. All right. If you're in the dirt, remember, if things are dark, if things are not, you can't see the way. All right. All you got to do is reach for the light, man. Reach for the light. You're a seed right now. Think about you're a seed. All you're doing is being watered. All you're doing is being nurtured right now to be something great, man. I'm telling you, it's going to happen for you. You got to root yourself in the reality that it can happen. And I'm living proof, y'all. Because look, I didn't like none of this stuff. I didn't like talking for a living. Now I do 3 speeches a day. All right. I talk to the people more than I've ever talked to them before. And now, but because I didn't like to do it. Now successful people they don't like to do stuff, but they do it anyway, man. They feel the fear. And the first time that I was had to do a speech, man, I broke out in hives because I was just so nervous. But once I put my story out there, that was that.
Coach Mike.
Yes,
listen,
sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, this man gets hot. He's not playing no games. I want y'all to go out there, find Coach Mike on social media. His page is called It's Coach Mike, y'all. Find him on Instagram. Get in touch with this man, AWOL Fitness. Our time is up today. I wish we had another 30 or 40 minutes. We got to go. And listen, Coach Mike, I want to let you know, I see your work. I respect your journey. I want to give you your crown today. I want to let you know that I see you. I appreciate your transformation. I want to let you know, and I want to let the world know that I see you. Hold up. You are America's next motivator.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Appreciate you for the opportunity, man. The opportunity to sharpen this tool. That's all.
For sure. Thanks for stopping by today, Coach Mike.
No problem. No problem.
All right. Peace. Ladies and gentlemen, each and every episode of America's Next Motivator has something here for you. All you need to do is stop by and pick it up.